Over the years, Apple has had many disputes with app developers, the Spotify app scuffle or the Hey Email app headache being two prominent examples. However, both pale in comparison to the current legal battle royale between Apple and Epic Games, a fight that has the potential to determine how we interact with apps and app marketplaces for years to come. In August of 2020, Epic rolled out an unauthorized patch to the iOS App Store version of its wildly popular game Fortnite. This patch enabled users to purchase the game's currency, V-Bucks, at a discounted rate that circumvented Apple's typical 30% share of in-app purchases. Apple, who was having absolutely none of that, removed Fortnite from its storefront. Epic Games then responded with a massive PR campaign and a 60-page lawsuit that appeared to have been months in the making. The developers of Fortnite accused Apple of abusing its monopoly power over app distribution on iOS, restraining competition. Economists like Sage Creek AP staff member Jamie Solis generally agree that in relevant markets, less competition is not a win for consumers.
I think there should be a general concern over any industry that has a monopoly or large market power, and especially something when there's such great barriers to entry. As individuals, we should want competition in the market. It creates better products and lower prices. So why would we want one company to have sole market power?
For economists and lawyers, the keyword is relevant market. Technically, the Sage publication has a monopoly over the Sage broadcast episodes. Intuitively, though, it can be recognized that the Sage is not a monopolist in the same way that Google is in the search market. Epic's entire case hinges more or less on the court considering app distribution on iOS to be a relevant market, and that's not an easy argument to make. Plenty of other companies act like Apple in leveraging their extensive reach to negotiate favorable deals with suppliers.
So Walmart can sell a product for really low because they have such a large customer base. They have such a huge access. So businesses are willing to give their products to Walmart for a lower price. Apple would have that same advantage, which is kind of what's happening because they're saying, well, if you want to put your app on my phone, which you do because I have so many users, then you have to agree to these terms.
It should be noted that in the US, being a monopoly is not in of itself illegal. Using your market influence as a monopoly to unreasonably restrain trade is. Rick Hogue, managing member of the Hogue Law business law firm, feels that the definition of reasonable has not kept pace with technology.
With respect to technology companies, the law just isn't greatly positioned to deal with a lot of what we are seeing in the business models, whether that's algorithms, technologies, the ability to lock out people from access, not because you have a specific place only on the corner of one street and can fix prices that way, but because you have all the streets, because you built the streets and you programmed the streets. And that's different.
By the same token, pushing for regulations and rulings for consumer benefit without understanding their impact could have rippling effects on other areas in tech. Rulings set precedents that future cases follow. For some, it's not about the brick being placed down. It's about the wall that will inevitably be built on top.
So I do think there are second order and third order and fourth order effects that happen that say, well, if Sony can't make this money because it's been declared illegal, do they invest as much in the PlayStation 6? Do they build a PlayStation 6? They go in a different direction entirely.
The Apple versus Epic case underscores an interesting point. As our lives become increasingly immersed in technology, we must scrutinize the businesses that bring us these technologies. And in advocating for pro-consumer regulation to keep these companies in check, we must keep in mind what effects those regulations will have. This has been Leo Ambrogelly for The Sage.